Today notes an important day for us because we are announcing that the work that is led by Brian Finlay here at the Stimson Center, that we've been calling the Managing Across Boundaries program, has expanded into what we're calling an initiative now. So it really forms a larger portion of Stimson's work because it pulls together a very wide set of issues that Brian, in a very creative way, has advanced our understanding and how to think about policy responses to this very complex world of messy, transnational, cross-border threats. So while we've worked sequentially on conventional weapons or non-proliferation related matters, we're now really pulling it together into an initiative that tries to look very wisely at the international security challenges that present in particular to the global south, and that also get us into this hybrid world where the private sector, government, and civil society come together, that we are all part of the solution and the response to some of these problems. And I think Brian's work over time will increasingly show us that governments are not the only actor, and we have to understand this as we build appropriate responses. So among the international security questions that I think many of us in this room are deeply concerned about is the question of the possible spread of nuclear materials to non-state actors, the rise of independent groups that may have access. We see it possibly in the case of Syria. We've worried about it since the end of the Cold War. And so we're really delighted today to have Brian Jenkins come and talk about both a new book of his, but more broadly his own deep interest spanning over a long period of time in problems of terrorism, the spread of nuclear materials, the nuclear safety and security questions. Brian, as many of you know, has been associated in various capacities with the RAND Corporation since the early 70s and really is one of the national authorities on terrorism and responses to terrorism. From here on in, the baton is in the hand of my colleague Brian Finlay, the director and leader of the Managing Across Boundaries Initiative. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much, Ellen. It's always embarrassing, Brian, when your boss describes what you do better than you can describe what you do. It's a bit humiliating, but thank you for that introduction, Ellen. We have actually been at this, as many of you know, for some time now, although this is, we're using the occasion of the launch of your book, Brian, to really have a bit of a coming out party in terms of announcing this expanded initiative and array of activities. A lot of the work that we have done in the past, as some of you in the room, I hope, are aware, really has been focused, as Ellen mentioned, on the issue of WMD and non-proliferation issues. But, and indeed, this will be the focus of the discussion we have today, but just maybe to set it into a little bit broader context, we are now at a point where we are trying to take some of the lessons that we have learned over the course of the past six or 7 years to expand into other areas, be it the trafficking in conventional weapons, human trafficking, drug trafficking, and an array of other transnational issues that we believe really do share some common elements. The most obvious being, of course, it's bad stuff moving across borders. And it's our contention that we have, as governments, as private industry, even as international organizations and even private individuals, which are becoming increasingly important on the international scene, obviously, we've erected these artificial barriers to how we address these various challenges. So whether it is working a bureau that works on human trafficking that does not communicate with the bureau that's working on drug trafficking, which does not communicate with the bureau that's working on WMD proliferation issues, within a government, between governments, and certainly between governments and private industry. It's really that nexus of issues and capacities that we hope to really draw together and begin to break down those artificial barriers to the extent that we can see across them, even if we can't eliminate them entirely.